and it's going live. Oh, and I am live on the second stream. We're giving that a shot. It says I have excellent connection. If this crashes again, I'm not going to get that second feed going, but if you could see it. Yo, what is that graphic on the bottom of that page that I put down there? I would love to hear your feedback. So, anyways, the Real You Set. Shout out to the Real You Set. Really staying engaged, keeping all his projects done, giving people great crits. And I noticed you're the Real You Set up on his story feed, so check that out and give him a little critique if you feel. If you haven't done a critique yet, feel free to critique somebody else's work or newer work, and just put my @ the Real Marcoux on there so I can notice that you did a virtual critique. That is going to be part of my end of quarter grades, because as you know, we are kind of in this experimental realm. And a lot of educators might be watching every now and then. This is really a great experiment in media literacy and how we can engage students in a different format, something a little bit less stale and a little bit more connected. Connectivity is the key. Okay, so yeah, working on the little bits of glitches so I can use those glitches in order to kind of, because I'm bring these things together. You're seeing my builds happen. Builds. So in graphics, I used to be in graphics in the Dirty Dozen for a long time, and working on Chiron. And with that, I used to like I'd make animations, I'd make graphics, I'd make things that you could see that would kind of tell you the information you needed to know visually, because we try to create a visual auditory experience when you're in the news. And yeah, so I've been getting about 96% viewers and hits, so I'm noticing that for my attendance. 90% assignments engaged. Seriously, I have tons of work that I'm downloading. We had 5 assignments created last week. This week we created an extra 2, and already I've received about 50% of those new 2 assignments at least, and those are due on Tuesday early morning, so I can check those out and wrap up the grades, because we are on episode 10, folks. We're working on building towards what I'm thinking about, building towards the season finale. The season finale probably is going to happen on Wednesday next week, so that way maybe when we come back from break, we can have The Real Marcoux Season 2. So I appreciate anybody's feedback. If you've got it, please give me feedback. Send me an email, send me a message. Tell me what's good, tell me what stinks. Tell me what you would like to include it in The Real Marcoux. And also, I talked about, we built up our real distance zones. If you've developed your real distance zone and you feel comfortable, feel free to try to call me in and break this thing, because I love breaking things. Not physically, but just like breaking little tools that I'm trying to work out so I can get it better and working a little smoother. But so far we have an excellent connection on the second live stream on the YT, and I leave those up there so that we can kind of see my process. This is really a building process that we're working towards. So yeah, builds are things that you would develop, whether it be an edit, whether it be a graphic package, a sting, like in the beginning you saw my sting over here. And so this was my sting. It was going to be like, oh yeah, watch us. We are Tepafilm production house. That is a great shot. And yeah, we're going to leave that because that was my sting. That was like kind of like, oh yeah, that is what you're going to go. So what is this thing right here? If you guys can tell me what that thing is in various chat forms, I would love to let you know. Or let everyone know what that thing is that is down there on the bottom. I have this really cool thing that identifies our big C-SPAN winners 2 times in a row, super champions, super proud. We're about 15 minutes in, folks, and yeah, we got some an interesting show today. This is the episode 12. Not a clean show, folks. It's episode 10. And so yeah, big 1-0. It's kind of weird that we're gonna maybe have a episode 13 as the potential end of season 1. We're gonna work on season 2, but let me know. And I'm again teasing that fact. So yeah, if you keep tuning in, I like to tease a lot of stuff that you might see towards the end of this. A lot of ums today. Gotta agree with myself that there's a lot of ums today. We're working on it. All right, so I get these little catchphrases I pop in there when I'm trying to recollect my thoughts. I was thinking also like things that I could coin that were specific to the show, like that thing in the bottom. It has a specific name, but I gave it my own name. I call it the Raiden bar, Raiden, because you got Ray and Aiden, so I put them together and made it Raiden. Not funny. So, but yeah, I'm trying to build in these things that would be maybe specific to the show. And again, you see repetitive things that I bring through the episodes that I try to repeat, and so that way when someone tunes in, they're comfortable. They're like, I'm going to tune to the real Marcoux. I know what to expect. So that's kind of an important thing on building your brand, is that you're making someone comfortable with the things that they're about to see. Again, it's very dim today. So this this hat's probably going to get even more and more sideways as I try to let more light reflect on my face. We'll see how that works. Yeah, so welcome to the Real Marcoux. I've said the Real Marcoux like 12 times, and people are super annoyed. I can tell. But I'm not going to let it hurt my feelings. It's okay. We're trying this thing. We're flying this ship as we sink it, flying this UFO as we land it on the Real Marcoux. So yeah, I was showing you that thing, and we'll see if you guys get. I thought these were kind of funny, actually. Oh, this is not a clean show. I kind of pulled out their eyes. I was like, hey, you know what? Yeah, what if we had a one of these kind of graphic bars that was like on your eyes? And I am not getting the engagement that I want, because I wanted an answer about like what that graphic that you saw below might actually be, and having a trouble actually pulling that buck out, but it was actually one of these. There we go. Yeah, so if you could tell me what that is, let me know. But I did want to get into some virtual critiques eventually. Shout out to the real Elijah. Came out with a great The Real Distant Zone. Um, and this is his zone right here. You can see, oh, what a wonderful light that's captured. That's just like kind of kissing these characters right here. It's just like giving a nice retention between highest highlight, and darkest dark. So we can really get that light cutting in through the window and seeing these two characters as they're about to interact. Kind of an OTS shot, an over the shoulder shot, again in graphics and oh, time-based media, television, and stuff like that. We come up with these short form terms, so because we have a lot to think about. OTS stands for over the shoulder. But yeah, we talked about graphics, and I showed you that other graphic. And since you've been tuning in for a while, I'm gonna just spill it. That's a super. It's a super. Or a lower third. It's something that kind of identifies what's going on, or an infographic. You might get things like a snipe. That's an interesting one, where you have something that kind of animates in, and then like animates, and it says like, oh, tune in to the Real Marcoux next time, and then it goes, or it says like, ooh, hashtag the distant real zone, right? Make sure you get the hashtag, and it leaves. It's just kind of like an abstract thing that comes in during the show and then disappears like an animated graphic. Those are really fun to create, and oftentimes they have a see-through background, so it seems like it just snipes in and snipes out. Also, you might have a crawl, like info text that goes side by side, and you have like live real-time stuff that goes on. That would be a crawl. Additionally, as far as graphics are concerned, you might have, scrolling text that goes up or down, rolling text, up or down, and a bunch of other stuff. This is a live bug up here, a live bug, so like a graphic or a logo that always tells you what's going on in the program. Guys, we're 18 minutes in. I did want to get into some virtual critiques, and I wanted to have a clean show. I have a bunch of ideas. I did have a rundown. I have thousands of rundowns that I'm looking through. So trying to keep it going with the color here, and call in. Yeah, if you feel free to call in or something like that, I'd love to try to break this thing on an episode 10. But yeah, let's kind of go through some of your stuff online. Again, there was a Elijah, or Elijah, the real Elijah, making it happen. This one, I have to say, we see you, famous Michael. We see you, man. This is a up and coming film major for Tappa Film. That is, you start following me right away. So I was like, I'm gonna keep you engaged. You're a lower schooler about to jump into the real zone with the upper school film majors. So we look forward to you. I love the way you did this graphic and slightly blurred a couple of the letters in there. If you look at my story, you can see I broke the thing to create a really cool effect, like a 3D effect with the font. So take a peek at that font. It has a 3D effect, and I just did that with IG. And tell me what you think I did, because it actually was about 4 layers of the same font that I just layered over one another to capture this kind of weird effect. Put on some 3D glasses, see if it works. As a little clue. Yeah, so shout out to you, the famous Michael. I did want to get into, okay, so we have this magnificent piece created by the real Jonathan, and you know, this is the real distant tease 1, or the real distant tease, and he took his blue zone. He has this really nice camera movement, kind of this sliding handheld that works over. One thing I critiqued him on personally was, I was like, hey, maybe a little bit of sound. Like I could hear a little background sound, but then I could hear a little contact on the actual camera itself. So try to avoid contact sounds on the actual camera, because that takes us out of the illusion. But I do kind of like hearing room tone. Room tone is an interesting thing. So if you have a chance, if you like your room tone, try to stay quiet on everything else. That way that room tone really has that ambient vibe to it. But great job, the real Jonathan. I did want to give a shout out to the real Caden. Created an excellent real distant zone, and I can't wait to see your real distant tease, because what you're doing here is you're making social political statements with your work, right? I really appreciate that. This is kind of Dottism. I'm going to turn up the light over here, and that might actually help me out. I didn't even notice that. Just turning up the brightness on my screen helped out my lighting. So I'm going to do that. This thing's going backwards today. Back! 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 Hi, Mr. Marcoux. How are you doing today? Well, I'm doing fine, Real Viking. I'm trying to do a virtual crit. Let's get back to it. All right, so you want to turn and face it? Sure. All right, cool. He's going to join us in the crit. So what do you think about this one, the Real Viking? Well, I really like how Caden, the real Caden, I have to say that I like how you put the dollar bill right next to the female sign and the 40%. It gets me really thinking about, like, I don't know, oh, you know, there's some deep stuff going on in here, and I really like it. I wanted to code this surrealist Dotist piece that is of the new age. I really enjoy this diorama, and I especially love your color palette. The fact that you assimilated the pink with the lighter pink is a really nice touch, and I love that flower on the bottom right corner, because it just kind of like sets it off. It makes my eyes bounce around the frame, and then the muted pink on the dress that is created is also another nice assimilation of that hot pink versus the midnight blue. I totally agree with you right now, Real Viking Dude. Thank you. I really have been trying hard on this. Well, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much, Mr. Viking, for that extra critique. Yeah, so, and then you built in, oh, the ripped up dollar bill. That, you know, it's interesting. Ripping dollar bills, I heard, is illegal, but who cares? You put the L in there, so it makes me say, like, the dollar bill's a real loser. Big loser this time of day. This era, the dollar bill is a big loser. But unfortunately, we're going to work on that. But yeah, you get another one. A nice crisp shot, nice detail shot of that set. So shout out the real Caden. Your work is exceptional, inspiring all of us here at Tappa Film. We are so excited. What amazing collection of shots on the real zone, giving you a good concept of like where this may go if this is set for a real tease. Also, feel free to do your blue zone and try to give me a call or something like that. We gotta go out with a bang on the season 1 finale. That's gonna be next Wednesday. So let's do that. So blink, 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 blink. See, I'm trying to make sounds every time I change it, so it is a clean show. So it's not like, oh, Mr. Marcoux just flipping the page or something like that. It sounds like I actually like intended to do it this way. Blink. All right, the real McKenna. Shout out to the real McKenna. She had an excellent kind of storyboard fashion for her blue zone. So kind of really coming up with like where this monkey dude is going to go. I really love that. You see he enters the door. It's like this kind of lead shot to a follow shot to a kind of silhouette perspective of the monkey over here. So I can't wait to see what happens with the Real Tees. Shout out to you, the Real McKenna. We're about 24 minutes in, folks. We're going to try to keep this moving. The Real Maya, I got to give you a shout out with your Real Tees. 3. Yo, that's awesome. Yo, check out that on the Real Maya is doing magnificent things, bring together that tee. She come up with some kind of multi-cut that's happening right there, and I really love that. Too much red, too much yellow. Yeah, we'll work that out. All right, backwards ripped. All right. Oh, warning again. I think the stream rate is messing up again. Lower than recommended, folks. That's all right. We're gonna cut it probably a little bit short today. Hopefully, you got a chance to see the Real Maya. Yeah, yeah. Working on the streaming, folks. Working on it, working on it, working on getting the analytics right. And I can't. But anyways, anybody that's on the live feed, feel free to send me any questions. A lot of today. Hi, I love you. To try to like tell me what's going on. Yesterday was a little bit more melancholy, and that's okay. It's okay to be a little melancholy every now and then. This is an episode 10, so I really wanted a clean show, but it's not really happening. That's all right. Oh, I threw my rundown on the floor. Let's pick this back up. Excuse me. All right. I really just wanted to do some virtual crits, and that's being painful today, unfortunately. Exit stream. This can be accessed again from the managed list. All right, buddy. Oh, what a pain. What a pain. Oh my god, someone's calling. There's like a spacey sound in the background. I don't know if you can even see this, but I'm just going to flick around just in case that I can see if I could see it later on. Shout out to the Real Uset. Shout out to the Real Ray. Shout out to the Real Aiden, dude. Shout out to my teacher, folk. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to the Real Viking giving that first virtual critique, sliding around with his little... I just took a piece of paper and I ripped it. And now I can move him around and he can kind of like cut a little closer by himself. We'll see how that works, that illusion that I'm working out. Hey, the Real Elijah, we just gave you a crit on the YouTube stream. I don't know if you saw it, but if you did, I'm going to give you a wave right now. Let me know. Let me know. I'm going to wave at all of you guys. I want to do that. Wave, wave, wave. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, the real stream is kind of busted and funky, but that's okay because that might give you a reason to give me a little more engagement on the Real TV. The Real TV. Ooh, that's an interesting concept. No, the Real IG feed, which is where we began organically with a backwards ripta and a backwards ripta assault when it came to distance education. I don't want to have to record this again. Again and again and again. Too much work. Too much work happening here. Anyways, yeah, so let me know what's going on out there. If anybody has some engagement, I'd love to hear your feedback. Anything? What was that thing I threw up there at the beginning? What was that thing on the bottom? I actually even told you before. However, I'm just like interested in seeing you guys come up with an idea for me. I don't know. Let me 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 know. Do I see anybody interacting? That's the next step, is getting you guys more interaction live. I'm seeing your views live, and I'm seeing your analytics that are like spiking. I was really psyched because my viewer retention went up a whole like 3% yesterday. just 3% of viewer retention. So how much longer you're watching the videos is actually improving. And I actually thought about like doing some tests today, like while I'm just like kind of talking about normal things. Maybe if I like acted like I was flipping out, that maybe as you're scrubbing through the YouTube, you would actually like stop and play it because you saw a lot was going on, something different. So I figured that that might actually be pretty useful, and see if that you're looking at this visually, and that's what's getting you to stop on the feed, or maybe go back and scrub. I'm watching it. I'm watching it. M. Thank you. The real, the real, the real, the real, the real, the real, the real Elijah is the man. I love your shots, dude. You got like a cutting edge style. You just got like kind of a knack for this, and you're bringing it on your own. You know, I love how you always take an angle on something. How you're always like, I'm gonna get close to that window a little further so I can kind of like see it as a plane going off into the distance. Some geometry in there, folks. So yeah, always focus on like how you can art integrate these art forms with academics, because I love to see people bring that together. In fact, the real Maya, it was interesting when I first saw her real zone. Um, the first time I saw the real zone was fantastic because it had Tappa in the background. So it was really cute to me, the fact that you were like showing off Tappa, and we can clearly miss coming home. We have a lot to come home to. We are an XQ Super School, so that's super exciting to see where the future may hold for us. And again, big shout out to the Raiden bar, getting that seriously amazing C-SPAN piece in there and putting us on a national stage. That is phenomenal stuff. Yeah, I got a acrylic